And we're live. Okay, so welcome everybody. This is to a special edition. No, this wouldn't be our actual the Android Coliseum Hangout, but sort of a nice special edition of the Android Coliseum Hangout with myself and Sivan. Sivan, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for hosting me.
Hey, anytime, anytime. So, as we sort of talked about this event, this is basically a little phone off in true Coliseum fashion. Two combatants will here enter into the fray here. We're going to talk about the different weapons we're using currently. I have in front of me the OnePlus One, the OPO, is the Cyanogenmod phone here, and Sivan, you have the.
I'm lucky enough to have the Oppo Find 7, the premium edition, the Quad HD. So it's not 100% fair to compare between this high-end phone and the OnePlus, but still we can talk about the differences and for people to be able to decide what to get.
I like how you stuck that in there. Like, it's not the same as. We're just. That was like.
Yours is like the poor cousin of my phone.
Oh, that's a literal pat on the head. Good try for coming out. Thank you so much. But the Oppo Find 7, yeah, because there is a Find 7A, right?
Right.
There is. What's the difference in the Find 7A?
The Find 7A has 2 gig of RAM, I believe.
Okay, so just slightly less than the Find 7.
Even and less than the OnePlus even.
Yeah.
It has basically it's very similar, but it doesn't have the Quad HD screen.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's lay down the specs we have here. So both screens are a 5.5-inch display. These things are large. Like, this is a large display. Here is a G2 for comparison. The G2 just is dwarfed by it, right? And I thought the G2 was kind of large.
But you know, for me, I'm coming from the N1. So for me, it's a small phone. I had to get used to the small phones, small text, seeing everything small. So it's all a matter of perspective and what you're used to.
True enough. For me, it's a pocket test. You know, I'm used to putting all my phones in my pocket, and the Find 7 is just at that point, or sorry, my OnePlus is just at the point where it's sticking a little bit out of the corner of my pocket. So for me, it's a little bit large. But otherwise, that seems to be where things are going these days. 5.5 inches is sort of the thing. I mean, my dad has a Note 2. My son, I put together a Note 2 for him. They both, enjoy it. I remember being such a large phone. Now this is sort of almost a standard size. The G3 I'm looking at getting is going to be the same size as this. So for those of you wanted to see the size comparison, actually, I posted a link to the Phone Arena where you can take a look at the size comparison. It actually has a really cool feature. You can actually say, I have a Nexus 5 in hand, and you put up your screen. You can calibrate your screen size to your phone, and then compare how much bigger it is to your phone. So you actually can get a life-size display size. So they're both 5.5-inch display. Were they also the same, or it's the processor? They're both running a quad-core 2.5 gigahertz processor using a Snapdragon 801, which is a really good processor. They both run at 3 gigs of RAM, which is I find is great because you can run as many apps as you want. I don't lose my place in it. They both have very similar cameras at 13 megapixel for the back and 5 for the front. The batteries are fairly the same at 3,000 or 3,100 milliampere. Not much difference there. Where we do differ, as Sivan, you did say, was the resolution. I'm running at 1080p. Your Find 7 runs at the Quad HD there, the 4K display, I think they call it, or whatever. You gotta be careful what you call a QHD, or is it Quad HD? Because some people will snark about that. The geeks on that one. But it is 2560 by 1440. Yeah. So it was the first phone to come out at that full size resolution. I think the Nexus 10 had the same resolution, but this isn't a phone. So let's talk about that resolution difference. Like, I'm used to the Nexus 4, so a 768 display to a 1080 display. I notice a difference. There's quite a difference. To go from your 1080p that you had on the N1 to a 1440 display, do you notice that difference? Does that really jump out at you, or?
A lot of people say that it's kind of a waste and that the eye can't even see it. I have to agree that the difference is not huge when you use the phone on a daily basis. I mean, in the apps, wallpaper, icons, you won't see it when you just use a phone. But if I watched a video yesterday and I showed my husband and he was very impressed. I said, you see, you said it's not, you know, necessary, but we saw the difference. It was pretty amazing.
So you need to have something a source. I mean, then again, no offense, your husband's running an Apple product, so I mean, anything above that is you should be impressed by. But yeah, no, I guess it does take a specific display, a specific item for it to feed off of to show that display. I remember when HD displays started coming out first on the market, and you didn't have a true HD display to show them,
right.
They would notice the difference, right? So now, do you think, like, for yourself, do you think that would have been worth it? Like, do you think you could have been happy with a Find 7A, all things considered, with a 1080p display, or does it really kind of stand out for you?
For me, the more the better. If I get a phone, I want to have the best specs if I'm already getting a new phone, because I know I want to keep it for a while. So it wasn't, you know, the processor is better, I mean, the 3 GB of RAM is already a difference. So it's not only the screen that differentiates between the two phones. So that wasn't the only reason to get the Find 7 and not the 7A. So it wasn't only the screen. If it was only the screen, I would definitely be happy with the 1080p. But I wanted the faster phone, bigger battery. Also, the 7A has a bigger battery, so to compensate for the screen, but still. So.
Right. Okay, so that's something else we can talk about then. So is the battery, and that's one of the things I know. I've been looking heavily at the G3, and one of the things that people are concerned about at that kind of display resolution is the battery length of life. I have to say, on my OnePlus, I have a phenomenal battery. It's been really good for me. I can go out in the morning, I can play a good hour of Ingress, come back from lunch, and I can still get to the end of the day no problem without it, being running down or having to run to find a charger. Do you find much difference with that Quad HD display or the 4K display?
I do, actually. The screen takes a lot of battery. It drains it fast, and that's when the fast charger it becomes very, very handy, because the battery drains fast. It doesn't last it lasts me until the afternoon, let's say 4 p.m., 5 p.m. So for me, it's not enough. But the fast charger charges the phone, fully charges it in about 45 minutes. So
that's a pretty cool feature, I gotta admit. I mean, I'm one of those guys that my phone will get down to about 60%, and then I'll sit it on the charger and let it trickle charge up until it gets whatever. And I'm okay if it's sitting between 50 and 80%, no problem. It'll waver in between there. But if I had something that would charge it that fast to full, I would let it run all the way down, and then that last hour before you go home from work, get one good charge, and then you have a full battery again. So you really like having that?
Yeah, if I need to go out at night. If I need to go out, let's say jogging with other phones, if it was 30%, 40%, I would be all nervous and I don't have enough time to charge it. This one, I just plug it. By the time I'm dressed, it's ready to go. It's full. So it's a huge advantage, and the battery is replaceable. So I can get an extra battery, have it in my purse. If I don't have a chance to charge it, I can just put in another battery. So that's a big advantage.
Yeah,
and it compensates for the shorter battery life, I find.
Okay, that's kind of a thing, because it seems to be a lot of people are going away from that. Like, I can't get in there and change my battery. It's sort of been the thing. So as I think we get to these larger screens, larger displays, that's as nice as they are, they can be a little bit more draining. So I'm gonna find out when I get my G3. We'll see. So speaking of a removable, what also the Find 7 has, which OnePlus doesn't have, is a removable SD card. Now, I bought the 64 gig version because I'm not a big fan of SD cards, so I'm hoping to get as much as I have. And to be honest with you, 64 is way more than I need. 32 would have been just enough. 32 would have been plenty enough for me. but you have 32 in your phone right now, and you have the SD card.
What
So do you like having that kind of feature to have the SD card, or?
I like about having an SD card is that I can load movies. Definitely. Some people say it's old school, newer phones don't have it, don't need it, cloud, but I travel a lot. I don't always have access to the cloud. If I want to watch a movie, I can just transfer it between a Samsung tablet to the phone. If my kids want to watch the movies, I can just switch the SD card to their tablet, then take it back, or take it to work, load it with stuff. I don't have to take the actual phone and connect it to a computer. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, those of you guys who know me as the cloud guy. I do a lot of my stuff in the cloud, and but you're right. There's a lot of times that having the cloud isn't exactly easy. My new workplace, I don't have Wi-Fi for my phone, so everything I do is going to be off of my own personal data plan. Which again, for some things is fine, but other things, as you want to watch movies, you want to watch, listen to music. I really have to start really planning out my day before I leave the house if I want a certain specific playlist on my phone. So yeah, having the SD card is kind of nice. I can see it. But for me, for 64 gigs, I think I can load up a lot on there and still, as I need to, go. But yeah, so those are the differences. Well, the other big difference between these two we can mention is the fact that the version of Android they're running. The OnePlus is really touted as being the Cyanogen phone. This is running Cyanogenmod, so it's going to get Cyanogenmod updates. I wouldn't say as quick as Cyanogenmod is because it's actually Cyanogenmod 11S, so it's like a special build. So they're not going to be writing nightlies on it. I can probably go and install a nightly for it, but for an official support, I need to make sure I get the official 11S. And I haven't seen what sort of timeline they're going to do for updates, and is it going to get L or not? But I am running 4.4 at least. For myself, that's kind of nice. Now, Sivan, on yours, you're running Color OS, which is Oppo's version of Android, just like TouchWiz or Sense. Now, it's only on 4.3 at the moment. But again, do you notice that difference?
I don't notice a difference. I have KitKat on my N1. I have it on my Nexus 7. The phone is fast. The phone is snappy. People say that they had some bugs with Color OS. I didn't encounter any bugs. It works really well for me. I like the features. I like the camera. So for now, I'm not flashing any ROMs. Maybe in the future, when they mature, when they become more stable, I will try different ROMs just to see how it goes. I love doing that on my N1. But for now, I'm very happy with Color OS. I always liked it. On my N1, for some reason, Ingress wasn't working well. On the Find 7, there's no problem. It works really well, and I love having LTE. That's one of the reasons I upgraded from the N1, because the N1 for me was a great phone, but I needed the LTE, which it didn't have. So what I like about Oppo phones is that they come unlocked. It's super easy to root them. It takes 5 minutes, and it doesn't void the warranty. So you say that the OnePlus Cyanogenmod, a lot of people are excited about that, but the truth is that on an Oppo phone you can flash whatever you want. Right. So you can have Cyanogenmod, you can have Omni, you can have anything you want. Try different ROMs every day. It's so fun to play with. So for enthusiasts, an Oppo phone is like a perfect phone.
Yeah, because you would think that with the OnePlus being running Cyanogenmod, that you'd be like, all right, I can really experiment all I want. In a sense, it's kind of like the Nexus phones. Yeah, they don't come unlocked. I have to, fast boot OEM unlock if I want to be able to flash a custom recovery, because the recovery it has built in is very limited. It doesn't let me flash much onto it. So that's one thing that was unfortunate. I thought, oh, well, Cyanogenmod already should come out, I wouldn't say, rooted and everything. I understand not needing to be rooted, but not even having a decent recovery method in there for me to do that. It's
surprising. It is surprising to me, because I would think that they would be more open to let people just, play with the phone. and do whatever they want with it. But I was surprised when you told me that it comes locked.
Yeah, and that's what and you know, normally I'm used to a Nexus device, and so automatically I get it before I even put anything on it. Fast boot, OEM unlock, put my own recovery, put Super SU, and then I start using it. When I got this one, I started putting stuff on it because I assumed it's a Cyanogenmod phone. It was going to have all the Cyanogenmod features. And, you know, and to be honest with you, I'm not a big Cyanogenmod fan. I have to admit that. I don't know if I lose, you know, geek points for that. But I look at Cyanogenmod and I find that there's still a lot of, how do you say, jankiness in the device. Like the camera app just doesn't feel polished and complete. Like you can tell a different person working the camera app that worked on, you know, this feature over here, and it feels like a lot of little projects put together, which some people like and love about it. For me, I just miss that maturity of everything was one polished product like you get out of a Nexus device. But again, I assumed, and then therefore my device is fully loaded now, and now I have to think, oh, if I want to root it or put, you know, or even just put the root, you know, SU on it, I have to fast boot OEM unlock, put a custom recovery on it, and I've already lost my stuff. And
right.
I'm not a big fan of backing up. I don't know why, but I just always lose stuff whenever I back up. So that was one thing that's kind of surprised me. I never do. I did once. I did when I did an Android backup. I flashed and then I restored the backup, and for some reason all the apps went screwy. So I don't know what it was. I retried to flash. Anyways, we'll go into it. But yeah, so I was kind of interesting to see that, and I can't really find anywhere that says that if I do this on the OnePlus, I would. Oh yeah, here's the official word: is that if I do that, it won't void my warranty at least. So if I do flash an insecure thing, it won't void my warranty. That's kind of nice.
Yeah. So when I got my phone, I wasn't sure how easy it will be to root it, but I was very surprised how easy it was, and Exposed Framework works with ColorOS, so I was able to modify a few small things that bothered me, add some stuff, use Flashify, everything that you can do with any rooted phone.
Okay, so let's get into, so basically, we don't want to be here too long talking about it, but let's go into the pros that you saw with the pros you had of your device. Like you talked about the removable battery being one of the biggest things. A micro SD card removal. Your screen is a phenomenal screen. The fast charger, I think, for a lot of people, this is a technology I think a lot of people would love in any phone. A fast charging device that would be
It's very
great.
handy, yeah.
I carry a portable battery charger on me at all times because I'm that kind of nut who worries about getting below 50%. But I need to charge it up. The sound, you mentioned the sound. We didn't really mention the sound.
Yeah, that's something I heard about it, but I didn't know how much I would love it. First of all, the Max Audio is amazing. I mean, if in the past I had like a little jam speaker connected to the phone or any external speaker, now I don't need it. I put music on the phone and I don't need any external speaker. I can even put it in my car on the dock, play music, and it's just as if, the radio is on. So, I just say, hey, Snapdragon, play me some Madonna. Oh, I just woke up. And, I'm ready to go. The sound is amazing. Also, something very interesting is that they have noise canceling technology, and the voice recognition on the Find 7 works amazing. If in the past, because of my accent or because there's noise in the car, I would have problems with the voice recognition, but with this phone, it catches every word. For voice typing, for voice commands. So for me, it's amazing because if it works well, works really well. Also, the gestures on the phone, I love that. The double tap to wake, the gestures to wake up the camera, even when the screen is off. All these things that I already had on my N1 and have them also on the Find 7. So I'm a big Oppo fan. I think they make amazing phones. Yeah, the ColorOS needs some improvements. It needs to be KitKat. It needs to catch up. Apparently they're working on it. And but really, you can put any ROM on it, and
Get the
so
features you want,
easily,
definitely.
so easily. So the hardware is amazing, and the software, for me, it's great. Some people are not as enthusiastic, but again, it's so easy to change, the ROM. So I think it's a great phone to purchase.
I was gonna say you just brought up a couple points. For me, yeah, the audio. I mean, I don't know what the spec is for the audio. I got to take a look at that. But it does have the 2 speakers, and it has actually 2 speakers below, which is very nice. It's kind
Yeah,
of weird.
same as mine.
I'm used to covering one to sort of mute the volume if I'm listening to something in bed. So I have to put my hand all the way across it to to cover both up. But when you talked about the voice recognition, I admit this, for some reason, this doesn't do a very good job of recognizing my voice. At least the OK Google. Oh, it works now, of course. I found a couple times that I'd be in an app, and I would go, OK Google. Oh, that works perfectly, of course. But I found it wasn't as great, like especially when you do the training for OK Google. Stop it now. I actually had to train it several times for it to start working properly. But yeah, in terms of some of the pros I found on my device, snappy. The 801 processor is really good. I gotta say, the 801 is a really good snappy processor. 3 gigs really comes in handy. 64 gigs of space is gonna be a lot. There's only a $50 difference to get the bigger space. The battery life is pretty good. I mean, really good. I gotta admit, it's definitely a little better, I would say, than my G2 is right now, or give it about there. And the price is pretty hard to argue with. Yes, there are a lot of things that you could get with more money. Like personally, I wouldn't have mind paying more to get optic image stabilization in the camera, and I wouldn't have mind having Qi charging for a few dollars more.
Yeah.
But as much as I mentioned it's being cheaper, I mean when you do the math on this, I paid $350 plus $30 shipping. When you convert that to Canadian, that's about $420. And then DHL, when they ship it, charges me duty of about $60 as well. So it really isn't that much cheaper than you start noticing on some of the flagship phones. But you are getting a 64 gigs card out of it.
Right,
so.
and the Find 7 is what, $499?
In American, so it'll be $350 versus $499. $150 difference for the Quad HD display is a pretty good trade, right? A little more solid device. That fast charging, I think there's not probably a cell phone user out there wouldn't really like to try that fast charging and that peace of mind that they can always charge it pretty quick. Let's get into some of the cons. So we started getting about that with my phone. One of the things again I mentioned is I'm not a big fan of Cyanogenmod. I'm starting to notice that it's not 100% bug free in certain areas. So that's one thing. There's been a lot of talk about the yellowing tint. There is some. I first said there wasn't, but now I can see it. And it's not a huge issue. It's not really that bad. But just once you see it, that's all I see now.
So where do you see it?
Well, what happens is when I had to get a white screen, and I basically put a white screen picture on there, where I really notice it, and I'll see if I can pull up a Hangout. So if I pull up a Hangout, you'll notice that just at the slight bottom, it's just a slight different tinge of white at the bottom, and it's ever so slightly. But again, once you start noticing it, now the trick to fix it is to put it out in the sun with the UV light, because all it is the adhesive that goes down. Is you have to leave it in the UV light to actually cure that adhesive. It goes away. If you have those UV lights that people use for their nails, you can put that over there for like 10-20 minutes, and it apparently fixes it. I have a UV light for camping, and it didn't do it for me, so I'm going to leave it out as much as I can. Apparently it just goes away eventually, but again, one of those things, it should have been fixed in the process before shipping out. For me, the con I find with it is that it is tall. It's a very tall phone. Like there is, a lot of space in the speaker, and then there's this little lip on top that the backing on it that it's an effect. It makes it kind of feel sleek and whatever, but it just makes it feel a little bit taller. And some people may not like this sort of modeled, textured back. I mean, I think it's kind of cool. It really prevents it from slipping, but that's just me. What are some of the cons you think you might find with your Find 7 that or somebody else might find out?
For me, It's the battery consumption of the screen that's a big issue. But again, it's compensated by the fast charger. So besides that, I don't even care that ColorOS is not KitKat. Some people are very bothered by it, but for me, it's really a non-issue at this point.
Okay. So not a lot of minuses in that column there. So, okay. So let's dive into some of the questions. We got a couple of questions here. So one of the comments is Adam Slobosian has here is that there is an app that you can get that will unlock and lock your bootloader from Android without wiping your data, but apparently it's only for Nexus. You know what? It's one of those things. I'm at a point where I might even just try it and see if it would work. If I just put the APK on, will it work on my OnePlus One? We'll see if anybody else has that out there or has an answer for that. What if I try bring that out, put that in my wish list? Nope, it's not coming up for me, that app there. Must be an old app there, Adam. If you have the APK, share it with me, Adam, and I will try that out. But you didn't have to do a fast boot OEM unlock on your device whatsoever?
No, it comes unlocked.
Man.
And all I had to do is put a custom recovery, flash Super SU, and that's it.
That's really nice to have.
The
that kind
driver even, the driver, the second you connect the phone to the computer, the driver automatically installs itself. So
right,
really, there was not much to do,
Because that's one thing I found. I put the drive, plug my phone in, and I'm like, okay, it recognizes, I can see it as drive K or whatever my computer is, and I can copy files whenever I want or whatever. But I tried to use the SDK tools, and it wouldn't see it. I had to uninstall the driver that it pre-installed by itself that Windows decided to, and use the Google driver for it to recognize. So it was kind of weird that, I don't know if that's an issue, it's just my computer just didn't know what to do with it, but...
I always have this issue with Nexus phones for some reason, but with the Find 7, it's just the driver was installed, the computer saw it in 2 seconds, I flashed the recovery, and in 5 minutes I was rooted. I was so happy.
Good. All right, so another question we have here is from Stefan. Stefan says, the voice recognition OnePlus One is absolutely terrible. I have to hold the phone so close to say, okay, Google. Lucky for us, it's a software problem, and a new OnePlus One update should be coming before July is over. So yes, I've been hearing a lot about these updates. One thing I noticed, I found out was when I go play Ingress, I take my phone with me, I put my headphones on, and I listen to music. Most headphones have these little buttons to control playback and pause, right? You double press it to skip songs, and I do that all the time because I'll sit there and I'll listen to music and go, okay, just double press to skip that song. For some reason, on the set of Samsung headphones I was using today, if I press the button, it pushed the volume up.
Mine started OK Google, so I was at the Ingress event and I was trying to use it, and suddenly OK Google keeps coming up. I didn't have time to
I know if you hold it down, it's supposed to go into the OK Google stuff, but yeah, no, it was weird. I came home and I tried it with all my other headphones. Every other headphones works fine. It's just this one set of Samsung. I have no idea why. There is, and again, I've heard that that's a software issue. That again, it's one of those things. And this comes down to one of my thoughts that again, Cyanogenmod is not a 100% complete project. And I mean, as much as I love it, I mean, in the early days, in the past while, I find to get more like TouchWiz with the added features I never use, and there is just that disjointed feeling of it not being 100% seamless together. So there is some issues, but hopefully we still get an update. We're here, Stefan's saying there's going to be an update in July. I'm not sure what that is. I haven't heard anything about updates myself. And then again, I'm not really big active in the forums, so we're hoping there's more. So anyways, another question here. So hello, this is from LA Elk. Hello, updates are not really one can be satisfied with when owning an Oppo Find 7A. How is it when you own a OnePlus One? So with the ColorOS, have you guys noticed much in terms of like updates, timely updates, or is it just mean, obviously the 4.3 is still lagging behind 4.4 now. Like, with your N1, was there much updates in the Color OS like along the period of time, or?
Since I got the Find 7, I already got 2 updates, small updates, bug fixes, etc. The updates, the problem is that apparently they're not going to support the N1 for Color OS 2, which is very surprising because it's not even a year old. So people are a bit annoyed about it. For me, it's not a big issue because I'm already on, every day I'm on a different ROM. Cyanogen, Omni, so I don't even care about ColorOS at this point. It would have been nice to get an update to ColorOS on the N1 that maybe will fix Ingress. But, I have so many other ROMs to choose from that at this point I really don't care.
And you haven't really had the Find 7 all that long to be worrying about getting updates. I mean, you've gotten 2 already.
Right.
I think I've had
they said
one
a few
update.
months for KitKat, and that they said that about 2 months ago. So a few months, I can either wait or flash something else meanwhile. But the phone works great. I mean, except for the battery life, which can be improved maybe with software update. I don't see an issue with ColorOS at this point.
Sure. And in terms of updates for the OnePlus One, for LA's comment there, the build date I had on my phone when it came out on the box said it was June 20th. And I've got mine on July 18th. So in a month's time, when I took it out of the box, started using it, got into Wi-Fi zone, there was one update for it to pass through for it. So there was one update in about a month's time. So, I mean, we'll see if by August or the end of July we're hearing, as Stefan was saying there, if there'll be another update coming around and whether or not it's bug fixes or extra added features. Because that was a kind of nice feature when it used to run with Cyanogenmod nightlies. Is every nightly. But every nightly had a new feature. But every once in a while, there's a new feature we're testing out. You get it early. You can play around with it. So, but yeah. So far, both seem to be doing okay with getting updates. We'll see how that works. Hopefully, the bugs that I notice are dealt with software-wise. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see. Any other questions we have here? Nope. I think that's all the questions. Not even any questions in the spam. Anyway, so any final thoughts? Go ahead, Sivan.
Just to summarize, I mean, the OnePlus seems like an amazing phone for the price. It's kind of basic, I find. I mean, high specs, but nothing extra. If you do want something extra, like the fast charger, the SD card, the removable battery, some more, the Ultra HD for the camera, then invest a bit more and get the extras. If you just want, a basic phone for a good price, OnePlus sounds like a good phone.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty good for me, and I imagine, to be honest with you, most people will probably be just as well with.
Acquiring position. Downloading latest intel.
Sorry, checking my ingress while I'm just. Yeah, but it's been pretty good, and I gotta admit. So a lot of people have mentioned this too, the fact that for the $300 price range, people are going to be pretty happy with this. So they're like $300, $350 for 64 gig. There's not many people I know that really want to get 64 gigs, like guys like me probably. But
right.
But for a lot of friends I've talked with, they're like, oh, only $300? That's a pretty good buy, for them. So yeah, I mean $300 versus the idea of for a few dollars more to get yourself a full-on flagship phone there. Getting some more comments here from Stefan. Thank you for the Find 7 is capable of getting 128 gigabytes. That's I'm assuming for the SD card. Would you want to get that much space yourself? Get a 128 gigabyte card for it?
I don't need that much space at this point, but if I'm traveling and I want to load some movies on and have it with me on the plane, enough with the XM, Ryan.
What? One of my portals is going down. I gotta recharge. I can't believe
Okay.
the Bogdanovich portal, the virus. You know, you gotta
It's
fight
really
against
too bad we're different factions, alright?
it. Cities apart. Anyways, yes. Personally, I don't think I would need 128. I mean, that's $100 extra for space. I think you're looking at a 128 gig card, so I'm not a big fan of spending that much more money. And she has provided me some information, which I will throw on the chat or into the event page here about the OnePlus Ones. Here we go. There, I shared the link that Stefan has put in about the link for the July update coming in. That's not pull it up on my own just to see. But up week 30, so updates. So they talk about the color screen hue, and they're going to be talking about this should be ready for the July OTA. So there's going to be a July over-the-air update for our devices. So let's check that out. Let's see what happens. So hopefully we'll do another one of these in that time, and we will do that. So for sure. I know Sylvain he's getting his device in the next couple of days, so we'll be able to talk about maybe have his thoughts on it as well. But Sivan, let me just say thanks again for coming in and joining me today and discussing our little tete-a-tete with the phones and seeing what we think about them.
Thank
you
you.
Guys, if you guys have any other questions of us, by all means, we're Android enthusiasts. We just love to talk about our devices and any tips and tricks we might have. So I know, Sivan, I mean, as popular as you are on Google Plus, you are pretty open to discussion and anybody, I mean, has
anytime.
questions.
People private message me all the time with questions about their phones, and I just love it. So whoever needs help with rooting the phone or anything, just message me, and if you send me a specific question, I will always respond. And also, we have a really amazing Find 7 community. Not the official one. We have a small one where we share, tips and thoughts and pictures, and it's just amazing. We all support each other, and it's a great community. So whoever wants to join is welcome. And anytime, just message me, and I'll be very happy to help.
That's one thing I do have to admit about the community. And I'm trying to think. Tony had set up the community for the OnePlus One owners, and he had to make a special community just for the fact that anytime you mention OnePlus One, you get inundated with "Give me an invite! Give me an invite! You got an invite for me?" And I gotta admit, since I've said I've got this one, I've had no less than a few dozen. Oh, can I have your an invite? And it's like, dude, like.
That's what I don't like. Even I had to beg for some invites for some friends that needed it for Ingress, and I really want them to be able to play. So I had to beg for a few invites, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that so much. I think that they meant well, but people got pretty annoyed about it, and I don't see the advantage. They didn't want people to be annoyed because it's not available, so instead people were annoyed that they didn't get an invite. But the truth is that now pretty much everyone that needs one will get one. They started sending the referral invites. Did you get some? I don't say it because people will be all over you.
No, I mean, I got my invite because Tom got his actual invite from a OnePlus, and then he got a referral invite that he sent on to me. So I got a referral invite. I haven't got my official invite from OnePlus, so I don't know if I'm going to get any more to hand out. So I said if there's somebody that wants one, by all means, if I get one, let me. I'll help you out. I mean, I've helped out a few people, pointed in the right direction of people who had them. So yeah, that's a whole talk for another day about this invite system. So, anyways, we won't keep it any longer than this. This is we really appreciate people that have been tuning in. Appreciate the questions that are coming in. This has been a good conversation, and let's not let the conversation stop here. Let's, by all means, if you have any questions at any time, we're very open to having a discussion out on for me on Google Plus. I love that kind of community. So So thanks again, Sivan, and I hope you guys stay nice and cool in Montreal because it is bloody hot here in Thunder Bay today. So
Also here.
So good ingressing weather. Except not for you. You stay inside and you keep your fields down because actually we got to get everybody has to get fields up because we have to stop the Bogdanovich virus. There's 35% a day. It's just
we're working on it.
And
we have to work together.
We have to. Well, what's the deal? Teal or no deal, right?
Teal, yeah.
Right. Get blue and green out there. Anyways, everybody, thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Ciao.